Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Walt here from Down the Block Sports, and today I want to talk about the NFL. We have another quarterback trade. Yesterday was Russell Wilson. Today it's Carson Wentz. What I want to talk about is where Wentz got traded and how much better that team is with Wentz under center. Again, I'm Alec Walt. This is Down the Block Sports. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Yes, Carson Wentz is no longer an Indianapolis Colt. He's been traded to the Washington Commanders. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Commanders will receive Carson Wentz and a 2022 second-round pick. The Colts, in return, will receive a 2022 third-round pick, a 2023 third-round pick that can become a second if Wentz plays 70% of the team's plays, and a 2022 second-round pick. So when you heard the reports that the Indianapolis Colts were looking to move on from Carson Wentz, there was a lot of legitimacy to those. Because when you looked at the Colts last year, they were a team that had expectations in a division that wasn't the toughest and had some talent on the roster. You know, they had the chance, they had to win one game against the worst team in football to confirm a playoff spot. They did not do that in week 18, and Wentz has entered the offseason with some uncertainty on who he'll play for, and a lot of teams or a lot of fans really having a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to Carson Wentz. So obviously, when you look at Washington, you're in a position where you were looking to take that next step forward and add a better quarterback into the room. Now, whether it was a young quarterback like a Malik Willis or a Kenny Pickett, or going after a veteran like Jimmy Garoppolo or a Wentz like they have in this situation, we knew they were going to improve. Now, we did hear rumors that they were interested in an Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson. Obviously, those two have confirmed where they're playing next year, so they went in the direction of getting a Carson Wentz. Now, what are the benefits of getting a Carson Wentz? Let's go with the positive. One, yes, he left a terrible taste in your mouth, but he was top 10 last year in passing touchdowns and interceptions. The interceptions specifically only threw 7, which was the third best overall in the National Football League, tied with a few other players. Number 2, he knows the NFC East. You know, he knows what it's like to go to Dallas, to go to New York. You know, he played tons of games in Philadelphia, even though most of those games were as the home quarterback, but he knows what Philadelphia is like. Now, the other positive here is he's going to a Washington team that is really talented. They have Antonio Gibson in the backfield, an up-and-coming running back in the NFL. You know, at the wide receiver, Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. McLaurin's been a stud since Washington drafted him out of Ohio State. You know, look at the offensive line. They have some solid pieces and a guy like Brandon Sheriff, and hopefully they can get healthy back on the interior. You look at the defense, they have arguably the best front four in football when healthy, a very good secondary. Could use some improvements there in the middle, but it's all led by Ron Rivera, one of the best defensive coaches in the National Football League. So no matter the direction that Washington went, they were going to, one, improve the room, and two, have a great situation for that QB to play. When you look at Washington and the way they're going to play next year, I think it makes sense for Carson Wentz, because he can rely on an Antonio Gibson to be a bell cow running back, catch passes out of the backfield. When, if healthy, he can trust this defense to win them football games. He has a coach in Ron Rivera who's going to have specifically the defense prepared to play on a weekly basis. I think this makes a lot of sense for Wentz to be very successful on the Commanders. Now, when you look at the division right now, I still think with Wentz at quarterback, the Commanders are the second best team in that division. You know, when you look at the Dallas Cowboys right now, they have the best team in that division with Dak Prescott leading the way and some very solid skilled players, a very, very good defense that could improve even more depending on what direction they go in the NFL draft. But, you know, when you look at the Washington Commanders right now, how much better are they with Carson Wentz? They're a hell of a lot better than they were before. They have a QB who's in a situation with solid pieces offensively, with a good head coach and a good defense, who is not a guy who's going to turn the ball over a ton. You're going to get a roller coaster ride. You know, you're going to get some inconsistencies here and there. You know, Carson Wentz has dealt with a lot dealing with coaching changes, team changes, and injuries that's affected his career throughout his entire career. And when I look at Washington, I think it puts him in a much better position to be that type of QB. He's familiar with the situation. Yes, the division's harder, but Ron Rivera is a great coach. The only thing that's not improved is running back because there's not any better than Jonathan Taylor. But Antonio Gibson is a hell of a back there in the backfield. So even though this isn't a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers, I do think this is a very good trade. They kept all of their talent on the team as no players were traded in the deal back to Indianapolis. They didn't lose a first round pick. They did lose some seconds, potentially a second, depending on how many plays Wentz plays this season. But, losing the picks they lost doesn't kill them in the draft. Keeping the top level talent on the current roster, which is a very talented team, while upgrading at the quarterback position, Washington's going to have a very, very, very good team this year with Wentz at quarterback. We have to see what happens with Dallas. Philly has a lot of early draft picks. New York has a brand new coaching staff. So the NFC East is still going to be a competitive division. But Washington just moved their way up potentially in the standings, adding a QB that knows the division and has some solid pieces around him on the Washington Commanders. What do you think of this trade, Carson Wentz going to Washington? Feel free. Just give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.